Welcome to Max Quiz. Today we will have 50 history questions. Let's start with 30 multiple choice questions. Who was the first pharaoh of Egypt? Option is C, Narmer, who was the first pharaoh to unify Upper and Lower Egypt around the year 3150 BC. What year did Christopher Columbus first arrive in America? It was in 1492. He arrived in what we know today as the Bahamas on October 12, 1492. What year did the Roman Empire fall? It happened in 476 AD, with the deposition of the last emperor, Romulus Augustulus. Who was the leader of the Cuban Revolution in 1959? The correct answer is Fidel Castro. In what year was the first artificial satellite launched into space? (1957). The first artificial satellite in space was Sputnik 1, launched by the Soviet Union on October 4, 1957. What year did the Berlin Wall fall? It was in 1989. The fall of the Berlin Wall occurred on the night of November 9 to 10, 1989. Who was the Thracian slave who led the rebellion against the Roman Empire? Spartacus. The rebellion, known as the Third Servile War, took place between 73 and 71 BC. Who was the leader of the civil rights movement in the United States? It was Martin Luther King Jr. who promoted the fight for racial equality through nonviolence and civil disobedience. What was the first known democracy in ancient history? Athens. This democracy developed in the Greek city-state of Athens between the 4th and 5th centuries BC. What year did the First World War begin? It was in 1914. The First World War began in 1914 and ended in 1918. What year was the United States Declaration of Independence signed? In 1776. It took place on July 4, 1776. What civilization built the Great Pyramid of Giza? Egyptian. The pyramids were built by the Egyptian civilization during ancient Egypt. What treaty ended the First World War? It was the Treaty of Versailles. The treaty was signed on June 28, 1919 at the Palace of Versailles, France. What was the route that linked China with the West? The Silk Road. The route stretched for thousands of miles and crossed several countries and cultures. What year did the September 11th attack occur? In 2001. The event occurred on Tuesday, September 11, 2001. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. What event in World War II was known as D-Day? Normandy landings. It was the invasion of the beaches of Normandy in German-occupied France by the Western Allied forces. How long was the 100-year war between France and England? (116 years). What empire did Genghis Khan lead? The Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan unified the Mongol tribes under his command and began a series of conquests that expanded the empire throughout Asia and Europe. Who was the first emperor of France? It was Napoleon Bonaparte who ruled France from May 18, 1804 to July 7, 1815. Who was the first Roman emperor? August. Gaius Octavius Tyrannus, better known as Augustus, ruled from 27 BC until the year 14 AD. Who was the first African-American president of the United States? Barack Obama was elected as the 44th President of the United States and served 2 consecutive terms from 2009 to 2017. What political and military leader carried out the unification of Italy in the 19th century? It was Giuseppe Garibaldi who led the volunteer forces known as the Red Shirts in the conquest of southern Italy and Sicily. What year did the Mexican Revolution begin? It was in 1910. The Mexican Revolution began on November 20, 1910, with the uprising led by Francisco I. Madero. What was the final battle that ended the Napoleonic Wars in 1815? The Battle of Waterloo was fought on June 18, 1815 in Belgium, near the city of Waterloo, about 20 kilometers south of Brussels. Who was the last emperor of Russia, overthrown during the Russian Revolution of 1917? Nicholas II. The last emperor of Russia was Nicholas II, who ruled from 1894 to 1917. What was the first civilization in the history of humanity? The Sumerian civilization, which developed in the region of Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in what is now Iraq. Who was the first president of Russia after the dissolution of the Soviet Union? Boris Yeltsin. Yeltsin was elected in June 1991, with 58% of the vote. What year was the Declaration of Human Rights proclaimed? In 1948, it was December 10, 1948 in Paris, France. Which of these empires existed in Central America? The Mayan Empire. This empire was located in Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. What years did the Spanish Civil War occur? Between 1936 and 1939. Let's continue with 10 images so you can guess the historical figure. You have 4 seconds. We start with an easy one to guess. Abraham Lincoln. Lenin. He was a political and military leader. Simon Bolivar. Henry VIII. Ernesto Che Guevara. She was very well known. Queen Elizabeth II. A great scientist. Nicholas Tesla. Ludwig van Beethoven. An important politician. Winston Churchill. Louis Pasteur. Let's finish with 10 questions to determine the country of the historical figure. Confucius. China. Confucius was a Chinese philosopher, politician, and educator who lived between 551 and 479 BC. John F. Kennedy. USA. John F. Kennedy was the 35th President of the United States. Alexander Fleming. Scotland. Alexander Fleming was a prominent Scottish microbiologist and pharmacologist, famous for his discovery of penicillin in 1928. René Descartes. France. René Descartes was a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist born in 1596 and died in 1650. Mahatma Gandhi. India. Mahatma Gandhi was the leader of the Indian independence movement against British rule and used non-violent resistance to achieve his goals. William Shakespeare. England. William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet, and actor, widely considered the most important writer in the English language and the greatest playwright in the world. Nelson Mandela. South Africa. Nelson Mandela was a South African revolutionary leader, politician, and philanthropist. Pele. Brazil. Edson Arantes do Nascimento, better known as Pelé, was a Brazilian professional soccer player who is considered by many to be the greatest soccer player of all time. Eva Perón. Argentina. Eva Maria Duarte de Perón, better known as Eva Perón or Evita, was an Argentine actress, politician, and social figure. Karl Marx. Germany. Karl Marx was a German philosopher, economist, sociologist, journalist, historian, and socialist revolutionary. Here we leave you this bonus question. What country is Thomas Alva Edison from? Leave your answer in the comments. You can also leave us your opinion about what other quizzes and trivia you would like to see on our channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We are Max Quiz. Until next time.